You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates. Sara Gulseth out today. Have a great story to share with you as well. Looking forward to sharing that with you. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu. Live Uncommon. Have you heard of Virta? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit. Before we get into Virta, we have a great story to share with you. Pastor Jonathan Meraz, Trinity Lutheran Church in Norfolk, Virginia, has had quite the transformation over the last few months and want to share that story with you. And joining us by phone today, Pastor Jonathan Meraz, Trinity Lutheran Church, Norfolk, Virginia. Thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Thanks for having me.
Also with us in studio today, Sara Correnti, Manager of Health and Wellness, Concordia Plan Services. Thanks so much for being here today, Sara.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's the other Sara.
It's the other Sara, yeah. The Sara with no H.
That's right. Yeah. Glad to have you both with us today. Pastor Meraz, share with us, how would you describe your health over the last decade as a husband, a father, and a pastor? How would you describe your health over the last decade? Typical?
I would say typical. Yeah, I mean, I dealt with some family history things, but nothing super significant. Of course, diabetes is significant, but I thought it was being managed okay, but it wasn't exceptional. So I was dealing with that and other various things. I would say, I wouldn't say it was a weight problem because it wasn't a problem for me, but it was probably not I was not, a svelte young man anymore. And life had been very normal, I guess. American normal.
So pretty typical for Americans. When or where did something happen that someone expressed concern to you that you thought it was significant?
Well, I to begin with, while I was attending the seminary in St. Louis, early 2000s, they had a health fair. They offered a biometric screening as part of that fair, and I took a glucose test, and the person said, well, it looks a little bit high, so maybe you should go see your doctor. My wife's a nurse. She heard that also, so believe me, I went to see a doctor very quickly. And after getting some more labs done, my doctor called me and said, Jonathan, your blood is much sweeter than it should be. And that's when I learned that I had diabetes. And, so it affected me a little bit. I mean, I didn't panic over it. I had some general knowledge, but I started to educate myself on it and realize this was not going to go away like a cold or something. Of course, my wife was equally or more concerned with that diagnosis. So we started to try to do some things to address it. Started trying to put a little more activity in my life, some walking, just a little bit more into my schedule. But honestly, I didn't go crazy with regard to trying to address it. I thought the medication will take care of it. So that's how it started anyway.
So you were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, correct?
That is correct.
And once you received the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, you tried to make you attempted to make some changes. You made some changes, walking more. How about in terms of food? Did you see some changes there as well? You mentioned your wife is a nurse, so you had some support there.
I had some support and what I'm going to call encouragement, and it was encouragement. But whether it's a plus or a minus, I do all the cooking for our family, and I cook things I like to eat. And while I did try to make adjustments with recipes, et cetera, getting them to be more diabetic friendly, I didn't necessarily reduce my food intake. I did some things like started using sweetener in place of sugar, made some attempts to, lose some weight, etc. But, finished the seminary when I went into ministry, and whether it's a problem or not, the truth is that as a pastor, you spend a lot of your day sitting. So, I was sitting in the office. I was sitting with members in their homes. I was sitting with people in the hospital. I was sitting with shut-ins. And weight kept kind of creeping up a little bit. But I thought, well, okay, this is just who I am. I'm going to have to deal with it. My doctor that I was serving in Nebraska at the time, put me on a number of different diabetic medications. I was going to University of Nebraska Medical Center. They have a diabetic specialist there, and tried a variety of medication cocktails that did address the problem, but still over time the numbers kept kind of creeping up. My A1C was not improving, and then actually received a call, came out here to Virginia, and my doctor here, who deals with diabetics quite frequently, was also trying to adjust things. But last fall, he said, "Jonathan, you're going to have to start making a hard decision because your numbers keep going up. You're not losing weight. I can't feed you. We're either going to have to see about possibly putting you on insulin, or you might even consider having some type of banding or sleeve surgery to address this." My A1C at that point was 8.1, something like that. And for people that are familiar with the numbers, that's not a good number. So I decided, I said, let me consider what I should do. I was concerned about it because I've been around people that have had, for instance, banding surgeries, and I know that there's quite a bit of short-term success, but they're finding more and more that the long-term results are not necessarily encouraging. I did not want to go on insulin. So, I thought, I was praying, Lord, what should I do? That was in November or so. In January, we came into the new year, and I had kind of made a leaning, at least, not necessarily a decision, but, I was going to pursue surgery things possibly. And I got informed, or I was informed by our insurance plan, Concordia Health Plan, I'm covered by, that there was a new option available. So that seemed like good news. They covered the plan 100%. That was great news. So, this Virta treatment. So I did a little bit of research on it, and I thought, well, this might be the answer to my prayers, because it gave me options. It left things still somewhat under my control, because I could decide what I was going to eat. I could decide when I was going to eat. I could even decide how much I was going to eat. So I applied for the treatment and was accepted. And I began treatment on, I picked this day purposefully, Ash Wednesday, March 6th of this year. Went into Lent, beginning the Virta treatment.
Very fitting for a pastor.
Yeah.
Once you began treatment with Virta, what did you learn? What was that treatment like, and what were the things that you learned as you started the Virta treatment?
Okay, so the treatment itself, I mean, people are probably generally familiar with things like keto, uh, diet plans, etc. This particular treatment, actually, it's not necessarily new. They did not invent something necessarily so much as they embraced something that had been around for some time with quite a bit of medical oversight. And so it's restricted carbohydrate diet. What was really asked is that I restrict my carbohydrate intake to 30 grams of carbs a day or less.
Now, everyone listening, hearing that, is probably just terrified, thinking that must be awful to restrict your carbs to only 30 grams. When you first heard that, what did you think?
Well, I absolutely love a variety of things, vegetables, fruits. It doesn't cut them out necessarily, but for instance, I currently avoid many fruits that are very high sugar that affect my glucose, but I still have blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, avocados, tomatoes, that kind of stuff. I also have removed from my diet many of the whole grains, not eating bread and that kind of stuff, which wouldn't be a surprise to many people that have a general idea of what this is. But what did make me very comfortable is that God made me a raging carnivore. I love meat, and I love bacon, and there's nothing that you can cook that can't be made better with bacon. Just putting that out there. But, so, I still eat many foods that I love. I don't miss anything, honestly. This morning for breakfast I had scrambled eggs with some raw spinach sautéed in it, and cut up a habanero pepper because I like things hot. Put that in there. But, very satisfying. I had 4 eggs. So, it's a meal. I don't miss anything there. And, we're in a place now, months into the program, where I'm comfortable going out to eat, find things very easily at a variety of places that I can eat and be disciplined within the program. What really is the blessing for me, because I did not do this to lose weight. I did it to address the diabetic numbers, and that has absolutely come about. The first thing, as I started the program, there's a doctor that oversees me personally online, and I can FaceTime him and that kind of stuff. And then Virta also supplies a coach for encouragement or admonishment, depending on what is needed. But it's been very, very good. They're very open, and they're very much in contact with my local PCP, so that he's in the loop and knows what's going on. He actually expressed a little bit of concern originally because he's like, I don't know, so, sometimes it can be too high fat, et cetera. But when I had my labs done this past summer, a couple months ago now, he said, well, you convinced me. I'm a believer. Because my numbers have changed significantly. Within 3 months, all my diabetic medications have been removed. I've been without them now for 5 months. My A1C went from 8.1 down to 5.8. Some peripheral benefits. My triglycerides have been in the mid-400s, and I've been dealing with high triglycerides for 30 years, ever since we lived in Las Vegas. And I just thought, it's part of my life. But at these labs, my triglycerides were the lowest they've been in 30 years. They were 100. And additionally, I started off at 278 pounds on the day I started the treatment, and this morning I weighed 204.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, I'm very, very pleased with all that's come about on that. And
so you set out to get your diabetes under control, to manage that well, and it sounds like you gained so much more as well. What would you say?
Absolutely.
What would you say was was really beneficial in this program? It sounds like you had a whole team supporting you through this.
We had a whole team in it. The doctor only deals with my diabetes, but he's been part of the program. Virta has done much clinical research on this. They're just finishing up their 5-year study. The things that have come about are the things that they had hoped and believed would come about. And the people that go on the treatment and follow it, as a pastor, I guess I can use this word, religiously, they have shown much success. Their success rate is extremely high. Before I became a pastor, I was in business and have a marketing degree. If I had that kind of success rate as a marketer, I would be a millionaire.
Pastor, how has your improvement in your health impacted your ministry?
Oh, absolutely. Well, for one thing, I just have a lot more energy. Now, whether that's in regard to I'm not carrying around 75 pounds that I was carrying, or, I'm sure a portion of it is psychological, just from I feel better from, having gotten rid of the medications. There's been obviously a little bit of a financial benefit because although Virta covers the program 100%, I mean, not Virta, but Concordia Health Plan, I have no out-of-pocket expense anymore for medications. So, all those things have disappeared. The activities my wife and I, and when we started this program, and I mentioned I do all the cooking, I said to my wife, you're going to be suffering what I refer to as secondhand smoke effect, because I'm going to be cooking for me, and you're going to be eating it, and you're not on the program. Is it okay? She goes, I'm in it 100% with you. I will, I will play along. And she has said this publicly, so I feel comfortable that she has lost 50 pounds herself.
Wow.
In the same time. So we are now out biking. She has always wanted to go kayaking. I'm like, okay, let's go. I mean, I've done it, but she never had, so we've been out kayaking this summer. It's just the activities, and then the fact that we have a number of grandkids, so we've been on grandchild tours the last couple of years. In fact, in the 3 years I've been out here, we came here with one 8-month-old grandchild, and now we have 6 and are counting. So a lot of kids to go see. My son had mentioned before any grandchildren, he said, Dad, I want you to do something about your health, because when we have children, I want you to be grandpa. I want them to know you. I want them to spend time with you. And now I get to.
So it's been a comprehensive program that has really that has provided comprehensive results as well for you. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk more with Sara Correnti about how Virta not only has been successful for Pastor Meraz, but how others can also participate in this program and perhaps maybe even see some results like Pastor Meraz as well. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates. Stick around for more.
Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, on behalf of Concordia Plan Services, Lutheran Housing Support Corporation, Concordia University System, Lutheran Church Extension Fund, the LCMS Foundation, and Corporate Synod, daily reaches out to our members and partners, working together to support our local, global, and international ministries, church workers, and LCMS initiatives at large to carry the mission forward and to serve each other in love. Opportunities to serve, lcms.org/careers.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates. Sara Gulseth out today. She'll be back tomorrow. We're sharing the story of Pastor Jonathan Meraz, Trinity Lutheran Church in Norfolk, Virginia, wanting to gain control and manage his type 2 diabetes, but finding so many more benefits as well as he enrolled in the Virta program and found that to be very helpful to him. Also with us in studio, Sara Correnti, Manager of Health and Wellness, Concordia Plan Services. Sara, how does... who's eligible for Virta, and then how do they get connected? How does it work?
Yeah. So Virta is for people that have type 2 diabetes. So type 2 diabetes differs a little bit from type 1. Type 1, we used to call type 1 and type 2 kind of like adult onset, and what is kind of more just kind of what you're born with in a sense, which isn't necessarily true. Type 1 can come about with some sort of injury to your pancreas or something like that. Type 2 is usually something that develops more out of lifestyle and out of habit. So either the insulin that you're making stops working very effectively, or you don't make enough insulin to keep up with your lifestyle, or whatever the case may be. So Virta is a program that is for that unique part of the diabetic population, which is a large part of at least the population within the Synod.
Sure.
So we wanted to provide a resource that wasn't just, I know Pastor had kind of said, this isn't just something Virta made up. It's not. This is evidence-based. And we work really hard to always bring programs that are sound in the evidence and in the research that is going to produce great outcomes. So Virta is a program that is bringing, like he mentioned, physicians and coaches and connecting it to people where and when they need it so that they can have that support and accountability. It sounds like Pastor had a lot of really great support at home, which is wonderful. But not everybody has a nurse for a wife, or not everybody has someone that's really excited to jump on the same bandwagon of whatever it is that they're eating. So Virta provides all of that, and in a really simple way, using technology to connect people and keep it in the moment whenever you need that kind of support. For Virta in general, Virta is for people with type 2 diabetes. For our population, it would be people enrolled in the Concordia Health Plan, and then the plans covers the entire cost of the program, which is pretty hefty when it comes down to it. But we see the benefit in terms of not just the financial parts that are being lifted for the members, but they're also getting those long-term outcomes in their health. And Pastor kind of also started touching on like how this is affecting the other parts of his wellness, like his relational health, how he's able to be there with his grandchildren, and his vocational health, how he's able to have more energy and more passion in what he's been called to do. So, I mean, just a perfect example of why we do what we do at Concordia Plans and why we work so hard to bring really great programs to help people with their health. And when we say health, we don't just mean their A1C, though that's really great too. But we really want to make sure we're taking care of the whole person.
Pastor Meraz pointed out that it wasn't just his A1C that got under control, but so many other things that he was able to, so many other benefits that he saw from this as well. We have just about 2 minutes left. First steps, if someone thinks that this might be potential for them.
So they can go to virtahealth.com/Concordia. That's our own unique landing page. And that's where they can start to see some videos and do some of that research that Pastor said he did, and then also apply. So with this program, because it's a medically monitored program, it's not just, it's kind of a step up from like a general wellness program. They want to make sure you're the right candidate for it, that you're not someone that this could worsen your health in any way. So you would have to apply, and then they're going to look at your medical records and things like that to make sure you're a good candidate, and then invite you to enroll. So getting started, just going to that website.
Very good. Virta, Virta,
Yes.
.com slash
VirtaHealth.com
/ Concordia. We'll provide the link in the program notes as well. And I did check out some of those videos as well. They're very concise and very helpful videos to help you understand what is type 2 diabetes. And it was very insightful, very useful to help me understand as I prepared for today. So this is very insightful and good stuff. And I felt very confident in that, how it was being managed, that it was you had a whole team helping you through that, which
Absolutely.
Sounds great. Pastor Meraz, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today and being willing to come on and share your story. Congratulations on your success and blessings on your ministry and all the things you get to share and enjoy with your family now as well.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it very much.
Sara Correnti, Manager, Health and Wellness, Concordia Plan Services, thank you so much for being my guest on the Coffee Hour today and for sharing this with us. I'm hoping for many more success stories as well.
Yeah, I'm here to help, and I hope everyone continues to be well. Thanks, Pastor, for everything that you've put into this, too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Eddie Bates. Thanks for joining us for the Coffee Hour today.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.